Jupiter at Night is presented live.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Jupiter at Night. My name is Chris.
I'm Jeremy.
Hey there, guys.
Hi.
Tonight's episode is Thursday night's episode, and that's usually the last episode of the week, so we like to look forward to the weekend.
What do we spend the weekend doing?
Well, we usually either, movies. We'll talk about movies.
Yeah.
But if we're not going to go see movies, we're going to talk about video games, generally. That's what I'm going to do. I don't know about you guys. Alan, what do you do on the
likes to have
weekend?
some alone time.
I don't know. I kind of have some fun on my own,
Let's talk about what that might be, because a lot of people on the internet have been tweeting me and messaging me today about a new game that's dropped from Ubisoft, and we thought we've got
now I don't have to play alone.
That's right. No longer play alone. It's called what's it called? It's
We Dare.
We Dare.
Wait,
That's right. I was looking at
I love
his name
the
here.
German name. It's called Flirt Storm.
That is
Nice.
Flirt Storm.
Why don't they just call
know.
it
That's a
that?
good
Now, we should say that those of you with a sensitive sensibilities might want to divert your eyes if you're watching the video.
It's not bad.
No,
it's
really
just
not.
suggestive.
But here's what it is. It's a Wii multiplayer game, and if you can believe this, it's a game designed for consenting adult couples, groups of couples, who might want to play an interactive video game to get their evening festivities as a group kicked off.
Now you can actually set this.
Sexy parties.
You can set it to a pretty innocent setting, apparently, just like a fun setting. But there's also like flirtatious and naughty settings that you can actually set the game's interactive types to.
Yeah, we're seeing some of those what you might call naughty settings in the video trailer that they released up on YouTube earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
And then they included a whole series of follow-up videos where you complete the action and stuff like that. What do you guys think about this? Because, on lots...
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah?
I really do. I don't think it's going to sell, and if it does, the people are not going to look like that, and it's just going to be hilarious.
Well,
you're gonna see, like, the Real Sex series on HBO or whatever, and it's going to be, like, swinger parties with the We Dare, and... It's just gonna be gross.
Yeah, it'll be a
people on
gag
Real
gift.
Sex.
People would get this for
It'll
each
be
other for
hilarious.
like bachelor parties and stuff like that.
Well, we should talk about the main issues if you're in the U.S. I don't even know if it's going to ship in the U.S. At least
Probably not
off the store. So you're going to have to figure out another way to pick it up if you really want it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this isn't like the first time we've ever heard of anything like this. Although the first time we ever heard anything about this for the
No,
Wii.
I got to tell you though, you guys know that I'm a video game journalist, so I kind of see this from a industry-wide perspective here, and this is just reminding me how often video game developers just absolutely fail when they try to go the sex sells route with so many.
Sex always sells, Jeremy.
And it probably
It
will.
will sell.
This game is probably going to sell some copies, but it's just going to be such a bad game.
But the thing is that I don't know how much this will sell because the sex isn't actually on the screen.
That's true.
Now, I think you sell more when it's more like a movie where you see it on the screen. That sex sells because when you're by yourself and you see that, you can hit pause or whatever, and
I could kind of see
your
that.
thing.
We talked about something. I don't remember if it actually made it into the final version of Lotso a couple of weeks ago. Oh, it did? Okay. We talked about the Kinect hack that turns it into a multi-gesture. I don't know what you want to. What's the Kinect called? I guess it's gesture.
Yeah,
it's gesture sex.
Yeah, it's you can squeeze the air and pretend you're squeezing a boob, and it looks like it on the screen.
Right, and then the avatar is on the screen.
I just think it's funny. Like, if this is how you want to spend your time, there you go. At least you're not groping some woman on the bus or something that doesn't want it. You're getting your jollies out on a video game. Like,
I think Alan just laid some wisdom in our faces.
I guess so. I don't want to pretend like this is the first time we've ever seen anything like this. In fact, in the show notes, we got a link to a video of... Did you guys ever play... I don't know if this was actually a mainstream game or not. It was a mainstream game.
Yeah, see, I never played it.
Custer's Revenge on the Atari 2600.
This game came out far before they ever even thought that video games could potentially be harmful to children. There was no such thing as a rating system or anything like that. So this game...
If anything, it's more offensive just not...
It's almost more offensive to Native Americans than actually people.
It really is. That's the offensive part of that. That's
what I think.
Oh yeah, he's got Major Wood, dude, and she's naked.
Yeah,
that's a nipple.
And if you can avoid the arrows and get over to her, then you start humping her up against the cactus or whatever.
And this is on the Atari.
Hopefully not rape. Hopefully she's like, hey, baby, make it through the dangers, and we'll have...
Oh, my gosh.
Actually, you know what? The video version
slightly
I think is from the Atari 5200, but there was a 2600 version as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It looks consensual. I'm gonna say it's consensual.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a good theory.
Now, well,
I never
yeah.
played it, so I don't need to
hope
feel
so.
bad about like what I did in the past because that wasn't me.
You know,
But for
guys,
everyone out there, I hope it was consensual.
I think if you're really going to get into the sex game thing, where you're going to go right is like if you recreate like The Sims, where it's just like you just exist in a sex world, right?
You know they've
well,
done
see,
that.
that's the thing is,
yeah,
I just don't see why The Sims doesn't have an expansion for adults only for the people that want to do
Well,
that. It
there's a
doesn't have to be
Playboy
for
game that's
all-
kind of Sims-esque. Have you seen this?
The Playboy
They got bad
Mansion.
ratings.
What is it called? Playboy. The Mansion.
The Playboy The Mansion, and you play as Hugh Hefner.
Yeah.
And you have to manage the mansion.
Yep.
So you take on the role of Hef, and that's kind of interesting. And you walk around, and I don't know what.
This is
I don't know
another.
they
This
just
is
said
a
it was
prime
a really
example of when you
shallow,
try to shoehorn
stupid
sex
game.
into a game that you're trying to actually turn into a game. It's going to fail because the game side of this has gotten terrible reviews. Like just
But
the
see,
simulator side of it.
I blame that more on Playboy because they want their image to be seen in a certain light. Now, if
they made it
a
kinda
ga-
tame on
if
purpose?
a game developer was just like, "Oh man, we can do whatever we want with a Playboy license," I think, and with the budget that Playboy would bring, I think they could have made a great game. But I'm sure that it was just, "Hey, we don't want this to happen. We don't want it to be like this. No, none of that."
Well, okay. Well, let's take what the J-Man's saying. The J-Man's saying you don't make a game to play sex because that's not going to be fun,
Right.
Right?
No, you just.
So what if you go like the San Andreas route and you do like the hot coffee thing? It was San Andreas, right?
Yeah,
where they
it
did hot
was.
coffee in there, and you could unlock the sex mode, and then you had an excitement meter and stuff like
keep in
that.
mind
Now, what about that?
Keep in mind that San Andreas, they took that out of the game and just were dumb enough to keep
Yeah.
it on the retail discs. And then hackers, modders came along later on and discovered it.
Figured out
and
how to
unlocked
activate it. Yeah.
So
I don't think they should have gotten in trouble for it. It's really not that bad.
I don't think that they actually got in all that trouble. I think they managed it pretty
Oh,
well.
they did.
They did have to
they
increase
had to
the
pay
rating
out
on the
some
game, I
money.
think.
Yeah. And so what about the argument where you could incorporate the act into a game like that? You still
I think it's fine. What about like God of War?
I was
You
going to
had
ask
God of
you
War
about
was
God of War.
hilarious. I'll
Yeah.
be honest. It was a quick time battle boss event, and
I just played the PSP version. I remember having sex on that one, and it went to like a little cutscene, just kind of like classic movies, but you still got to see some TNA.
there was I think there's a sex scene in every God of War game, and they're hilarious
Yeah, there
because
is.
it doesn't usually show anything except maybe a glimpse of some boobies now and again, but then it like goes off screen and you have to press the right buttons to make the off screen moans
to make love.
increase.
And then you get your health boost.
Yeah.
That's too funny. So that's God of War. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, God of War, very good game. All
Yeah.
of them, good games. And they just,
Yeah.
they managed to make this little fun, sexy mini game and as a part of it. That's the only one that I can think of that was actually a success.
You know, I like
And-
the. Oh, go ahead.
And even in the Grand Theft Auto games, when they do have sex or whatever, they still say they're going to do that, and then it's just like, come in for a cup of coffee, and then whatever, and then like come into my
Don't
room,
some
and
of
it goes
just
dark,
have like moaning and sound effects while it's just a shot of the car
Yeah.
and it's supposed to be
and
in the
like the
backseat.
car is shaking, and I don't.
Right.
Or Mass Effect, yeah.
Compared
Andrea
to like
mentioned
movies
Mass
and
Effect.
TVs and stuff, who the hell cares? Is this really a big deal anymore?
I think it must be. It's getting a lot of buzz online.
I know, but it's so funny to me that, and like this game, it's not even coming out in America.
I know.
And
Well, I think
That's
one
kind
of
of
the
where we
things
live.
that has kind of caught people's
And
eyes
it's a big deal.
about this We Dare thing in particular is because it's coming from such a large publisher. Ubisoft. They're a big name. They're not usually the type
Yeah.
of people that would create a game like this, or like those massage games, they call them, that use the rumble packs on your controllers to massage. Those aren't going to be coming out by
But
Nintendo
even-
or Ubisoft usually. But all of a sudden, this
even
one-
Xbox has those on their things. You can download those through their arcade system.
right, but they're not
they
made
do.
by
Yeah.
Microsoft or they're not made by
Well,
big
no,
name
because anyone
publishers.
Well, everything that goes on these consoles, like the Wii and the 360, still gets Microsoft's stamp of approval.
That's true.
So you can't put out a sexy game like this at being Ubisoft and not have the Nintendo stamp. on there.
Yeah, Nintendo said, yeah, sounds good. Let's do it.
I think that's maybe the more interesting and telling
Can you
part of
just
this
imagine
whole story, right?
the business meeting, though, of a bunch of people sitting around in a boardroom or something, and this comes across their desk, and they're like, that sounds like a good idea.
But at the same time, they could have sold it differently because, like when you're eating the apple or something, maybe you're just like batting it with each other. And the spanking, maybe just I hold it and you spank it like that. So it's more like, haha, I'm spanking it.
You know, what's funny is we showed like the least suggestive and provocative video here at Evolving because like after you watch the main video, they go on to like girl on girl kissing. And
Girl on girl, guy on guy, swingers.
Yeah. So dude, they're not being shy about their intentions with this game at all.
And I just like that the commercials seem to be for a German crowd because at the end it's all German.
That was just one of
that
them.
makes me think that
it's
Germans
also coming out
are
in
very
France
comfortable with their sexuality, and that's just good for.
Yeah, it will be in France, but yeah, it does seem to be hitting Germany first. You're right about that. That's kind of funny, huh? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Ragging on developers here for a lot of the episode, but like things like DOA volleyball. Come on, somebody made that, and people buy it. It's like a bestseller.
Have you seen?
Oh, that was big publisher.
Well, there's like the butt battle mode where it's just like gratuitous butt
It's
bumping.
just girls in
They have the
bikinis with jiggle physics.
They have the.
Just bouncing around.
I do like jiggle physics.
They have it where you can basically be the girl, jiggle around, pause it, and then you can turn the camera.
Yeah.
To get whatever view you want.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never.
And that's part of the game.
That's part of the game.
So you guys have to believe that sex sells. Then, Jeremy, I mean, you have to believe
to
that
a
sex
certain
sells,
degree. I agree. It's just maybe you could consider DOA volleyball a success to some degree. I wouldn't, but I know it probably sold millions of copies.
The only reason I really know about it, because I don't think I've really played it much, I think the only reason I know about it is because of the jiggle physics.
Yeah.
You kind of pioneered it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I heard about jiggle physics.
I kind of think, don't you think Tomb Raider?
Okay, that's fair.
When I think jiggle physics in the first one,
at least sex selling, I think Tomb Raider.
Yes.
I don't know about like I think early rough polygons when I think Tomb Raider, but
Pointy boobs.
I definitely I definitely like triangle boobs, right? But I definitely do.
Rumble Roses, that was another one that looked a lot like Dead or Alive,
that's
but it was wrestling and with girls.
But still just...
Boy, the chat room's on it tonight, aren't they?
Actually, Marsbase and a couple others have sent me a whole list of games that I'll just tack onto the end of the show notes when we publish them.
Okay.
If you're interested in seeing how the gaming industry addresses trying to sell a game based on sex at some point... Yeah. There's such a wide
you could even
range.
say Duke Nukem does it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Duke
Leisure Suit Larry.
Leisure Suit Larry did it?
That's classic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
Classic nudity.
And it doesn't stop
all you're trying to do is you're just trying to nail.
It doesn't stop with developers either. I mean, there's nude patches for Oblivion, Fallout, The Sims, even WoW has nude patches out there.
Those are mods of people that do it on their own, not the actual.
Yes. That's what's so funny, that like a community got together, like an effort, and they said, all right, like imagine you and I are sitting here.
It's time for this to happen.
Hey bro, let's get together and let's skin champions to be nude. You know what I mean? Come on.
I'm tired of my superhero and champions having clothes. It's bullshit. Yep. It's not the way it was made to be played. Chris,
I agree, man.
Fix this.
We're gonna have to organize.
The capes are cool. We can still have the capes.
And boots.
Yeah, and boots.
Some of the costume, but we need to show the parts. The rest of the costumes are fine,
right?
As long as the parts are showing.
So I guess we should send.
No, because Alan, you thought it was going too far when they put nipples on Batman's uniform, and now you just want nipples? Come on.
Yeah. But that's Batman, dude.
Was Batman? Well, no. I mean, the problem was Batman wasn't naked.
I'm not saying DC Universe needs to do that because that would go against the character models and stuff.
I see. So you don't want to violate DC canon?
No.
Okay, you're being reasonable about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to be.
I gotcha.
I mean, but if they want to make a DC Nudiverse game, then hey, that's that game. That's what that game's made for.
I could see a future, right, where like all these games with their stores in there, where they upsell you stuff. Like there could be like a nudity pack. And you buy the nudity pack.
Vindictus,
right?
Which, by the way, Jiggle Physics, they have a very robust store for people to buy things in. I could see that happening. Yes. Absolutely.
Really? Yeah. There you go. Well, so does Cryptic with Champions. They got the C-store.
Mm-hmm.
You could maybe that'd be the easiest costume set I think the art team would ever have to make, right?
Just nudie pack.
I like to think those avatars have skin underneath those fake clothes.
But I will say I like how they're not gratuitous as they could be. Like say you do a character creator, they always put them in their underwear.
They do.
I do like that.
Sometimes
that's
like
nice.
the Fallout underwear is like almost full body. It's like long underwear.
Yeah, I like that. That's fine. Because if they were just like boom naked, it'd be like, oh, that's kind of in the face. Like
That's a lot of penis.
Give me some story, give me some setting and some background.
You can't just throw penis in my face.
Let's be nice about this.
Right. No, you have to be prepared for penis.
Hold my hand.
Oh, hey, you know what?
Like
Rikai just brought up a good
and look
point.
in my
Talking
eyes.
about sex and money in video games, there is actually a pretty growing business within Second Life of actual real life prostitution or virtual prostitution. Both of them
Wait, real
exist.
life or virtual?
You're hooking up you're setting up business arrangements inside Second Life and then executing them in real life.
I think most of it is virtual, but there is also a real life component to that. Yes, and then people will either be paid in virtual money inside the game, which I think can be still exchanged
Lindens?
for real money.
So like, hey, I'll give you like 400 Second Life dollars if you give me a BJ in real life.
Something like that, yeah. I mean, there's a real exchange rate to the artificial cash in that game, so it exists.
My mind is
Wow.
blown by that. I did not even think that people would do that.
I think
But I guess, technically a blowjob's free to give.
Now, see, I get it if it's within the game. Like if it's like, hey, my avatar is gonna blow your avatar because whatever.
That still seems really dumb.
It does, but I mean, that's what that game's about, is having that second life. So why not include that aspect of it too?
as long as participating in that action only takes one hand, I can see it taking off, no problem.
Well, no, normally it's just like interact, like BJ, and then it just while you're
Click,
performing that,
hands
it's like,
off.
well, that's just an animation. Just I gotta let that animation run its course. There's nothing to do to interrupt it. It's just gonna do it.
Yeah. Slash BJ, right? Just
Right. And then the person has to accept. It's not just like,
Oh, okay. So it's like a team
I'm
request.
all about consensuality.
So first you
in the
send them a
games.
team invite, right? You send them a team invite, and then once they accept your team invite.
Well, I think that's just if you're having a team situation.
Oh, okay. Maybe if you're playing that Wii game, huh?
Right.
Maybe.
Because that really is a
we'll
party
put-
atmosphere.
That's for sure. We'll put links to everything we talked about if you want to have a good chuckle yourself. And if you've tried any of these games, I'm sure people out there have tried Jeez, easy for me to say. Leisure
Chris
Suit Larry.
obviously hasn't.
I haven't had any caffeine today either.
I've actually heard some good things about, good things about the most recent one, Magna Cum Laude or something like that. I haven't played Leisure Suit Larry since I was a 13-year-old kid that kind of really enjoyed that for different reasons. But
Yeah, I think that's what those games are made for.
Yeah.
so I'm kind of curious if the newer versions of Leisure Suit Larry stack up, if they withstand the test of time, if they're still.
I don't think it does because they're not adult only anymore.
Oh, so they kind of made them more tame.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, it's because really, in my opinion, it's either go for it and do it all the way,
Yeah.
or don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Otherwise it
doesn't
even
seem like
Mass Effect, the sex scene and stuff, like they did it and they went for it, and I haven't seen it, but everything I have seen and heard is like they did it right.
Yeah, because if
That's
you
how
don't,
it's
if
done.
you don't go all the way,
in Mass Effect. I mean, it's pretty much what you would see on cable television.
Yeah, and so who the hell cares?
Right.
Well, there you go. I think that's our closing thoughts on all of it. Is while we think it's kind of funny and you can get kind of a laugh out of it, at the end of the day, people are just going to do what people are going to do, and who cares? Let them do what they're going to
And
do.
to game developers
right?
out there, go big or go home, right?
Now, all of that said, if you are outside the U.S. and you happen to get your hands on this new Ubisoft title and you want to give us a little review, or
Send us the videos of your
Yeah.
sexy parties.
well, wait a minute, think that through first.
Edited.
Yeah.
Before it gets too sexy.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, draw the line, man. Draw the line.
To be
right
continued.
there.
And if we want more, we will ask.
Yeah, we'll
won't
contact
ask.
you.
We
Yeah.
won't,
You
but
can pretty much
just
count
to
on
make you
that.
feel better. We might.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks so much for tuning in to tonight's episode of Jupiter at Night. And Jupiter at Night will be right back here Tuesday night.